that have come up since the last meeting. You know, maybe you're at home and you reread them and you go, hey, you know, we need to make further changes. That's why we have this second meeting. I don't think anything has really come up. If any property owner is at home and says, wow, they're kind of shortening this conversation, I'd encourage them to go back to the regular meeting for the month of June, where we go into much more detail. And we have the recording for the Rules and Regulations Committee for June also.
Okay, so do we maybe just to prolong this just more than 5 minutes?
Sure, I'm good.
Just take each policy and say, hey, does
Outstanding.
anybody have any updates? Right? Good?
Sounds good to me.
So the definitions?
So the definitions, we wanted to make sure, if you recall, we talked about this last time, is that we wanted to ensure, now we're going to have to be really clear about the POA Board of Directors and the ACC Board of Directors. And so Doug wanted to make sure that we included that in the definitions, because that's kind of the starting point. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have to be very clear when we talk about the Board of Directors.
Okay.
Especially Doug and myself, because we're really the ones that kind of sit in the middle between those two boards, and we have to be clear which board we're talking about.
Okay. So what does it say? Would you read the definition?
Okay, the POA shall mean and refer to the Bella Vista Property Owners Association formally. So anytime that POA is referenced, that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Okay. And if you recall, this is boy, I lost my train of thought completely. I've had multiple meetings today, so
Yeah.
I'm just.
And you probably have a few more before the
And
day's
it just
over.
raced out of my head. I'm sure it was something intelligent I was
It
going to
was.
say.
You can always come up with it later.
I'm sure it'll come back.
Yeah.
The next one is has to do with the adjustments to the POA elections and ACC nominations committee. So what we've done here is we've repurposed the elections committee and now made it for the elections and for the nominations. We recycled, if you look at, what is that, page 4, and we're going to look at section Roman numeral 4, ACC nominations. If you go through that, you'll notice that this is very similar to how when we have a POA board opening, it already works. We've already used that policy before, so we just copied it and put it and repurposed it. And we've done that a number of times in creating these policies and in creating the board, the ACC board. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're doing stuff that already works.
Consistency.
I think that's on page 44 of your
Yes.
packet. You guys
Yes.
find it? Yeah. That's number 4.
Now, I think what's interesting to mention is, so while this committee has not been formally approved yet, meaning the changes to the committee, I got to check my calendar, make sure I got everything correct. Okay, so what will happen is we're actually going to have this committee meet this month. Okay, and so we've already received 7 or 8 applications to serve on the ACC board. So we're going to meet. The committee is going to interview each of the prospective candidate. Now, what's different here is those recommendations, because it's before August 1st,
Mm-hmm.
those recommendations will go to the developer.
Gotcha.
And the developer will say, we agree with the POA election and ACC nominations
Or
committee, or maybe potentially don't agree.
Or if they don't answer, isn't that the
We're going to need to have an answer for them. So what they're going to do is they're going to appoint the new board just as they're outgoing.
okay? I got
And the reason why we wanted to do that is we didn't want to have a situation where Doug and I were the only members of the board, and the first actions that the board would have to be take would be we
Up to
start
you two.
naming
Yeah.
other board members, and that just looks
Yeah.
hinky.
Yeah.
Looks suspicious. So let's have the developer name the incoming board.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Because then one of the tasks of the incoming board will be to create the ACC Rules and Regulations Committee, which will then develop the rules on how to elect new board members.
And this is where I was getting to this. This is where the rules and regs goes to the developer, and if they don't answer within 5 days.
That's
blah, blah,
correct.
blah.
That's
Okay.
correct.
I was confused.
And I don't think they're going to be that interested in that level of detail. They might, but they have that right,
Okay.
but I don't think they're going to.
Okay.
So that's what the plan is, and so we already sent out the schedule. We already have confirmations for the interviews. So we're kind of following our rules, but also we have a little bit of flexibility because we haven't taken over.
Right.
So we have a little bit of flexibility, and we're trying to move as quickly as possible because we want to be able to have the first meeting of the board in early August.
Okay.
I missed anything? Outstanding.
Aren't the rest of these pretty much redundant?
Yeah.
They're very redundant.
You done
Yeah.
That was the big one, the one you just talked about
Right.
with all the red.
And you'll notice that, and I mentioned this at the last meeting, is we've included the note about the assignment of the responsibilities. We included it in multiple locations. We could have included it in the definitions at the very beginning, but what we have found, what Doug and I have found in our many years, is that people do not read the entire document. They read just little portions of it, and then they miss the understanding or miss important pieces of information. So
Or they read it to get the answer that they think it should be and
maybe.
stop.
Maybe we'll let you say that, not me. But by providing it in multiple locations, that way it's easier. We're trying to make it more user friendly.
Okay.
I think that's maybe the right answer. Is that we're trying to make it user friendly, and we know the same mistake that they make, whether it's on purpose or not. So let's make it easier. So we have it in multiple locations, as Jeff indicated.
Okay. All right.
So that's in policy 3.08. And then the same thing in 3.09. You'll see it's in multiple locations. Wow, why do they keep on including it? Well, because like I said. And then this in 5.07, which is temporary parking of vehicles. And then we get to the notated version, or I call it the red notated version. And this was a question that came up at the board meeting is, how do we change the declaration? We can't change, well, we're not. We're changing the notated version, which is the informal version that we created several years ago to make the declaration easier to read. If you don't like the notated version, go to the source document.
And
But
be confused.
And be confused. But in addition to the source document, you also have to throw in court cases and amendments and new state laws and everything else. So
Right.
what we've tried to do is, in the notated version, include all the stuff that has occurred over the last 65 years.
Okay.
And that's it.
Pretty much it in a nutshell, right?
Absolutely.
Does anybody have anything else that we want to add before we send this on to the board?
I do not.
No?
I'm all good.
You're all good? Okay. Well, this might be one of the shortest rules and regs in history, but at least we've accomplished what we are supposed to be doing.
Well, Dave picked the wrong one to miss, didn't he?
Didn't they? Yes. He did. We'll have to tell him about that for sure. Okay, in that case, I think we may have another rules and regs. We don't know yet. Next month, we don't know whether there'll be anything to come up or not.
We don't have anything. Remember, yes, there's going to be a lot of policy changes, but they're all going to be ACC, and they're all going to be in the other
Right.
Rules and Regulations Committee.
Exactly.
So they're going to be busy. I don't know if you guys can. I don't know if you're going to need to meet next month unless something comes up in the meantime.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, in that case, meeting adjourned? No, sorry. Oh, could I please have a motion to forward this on to the board for the second reading
Second
and
and final reading.
second and final reading?
I move that we forward policies I through 7 to the board for second and final reading.
Second.
All in favor? I'm voting for Dave too. All right. Are we good? We're good. All right. Meeting adjourned.